Welcome, welcome. My name's Holland and I'm an amateur mixed media artist and composer. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you around my studio. When I say that, I mean 2 desks, one for my art and one for my music. Let's get into it. So this desk here is for art and also for editing videos. And this desk here is where I work on composing music. So I'll show you in a bit more detail now. You may recognise this background from my art videos. I did at one point make videos with just the background of the desk, but it was a bit too dark, and when I shone a light on it, it was very, very reflective. So that's why I replaced it with this. I have some fake plants and things and flowers, just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer when I'm sat here working. Here's where my laptop is most of the time. I have lots of things plugged into it. I prefer not to carry it around the house if I can avoid it. And then I have this extra monitor plugged into it so that I can do my music on that one and my editing on this one, or anything else that I want to do. Over here are some of my sketchbooks and some of my art supplies. So I've got my Winsor & Newton palette. Those are just some metallic watercolours that I got, I think, from Temu or something. This here is a tablet, just a cheap Wacom, however you say that. Just a cheap one that you can plug into the computer. You obviously can't see what you're doing on this screen, so you have to look at the computer screen. But it's just a cheap way into digital art, which I like to do sometimes. My mum made this. And then I have a few other bits up here. I've got some acrylic gouache, which I have yet to try out. I have my Kuretake watercolours, my Inktense blocks, and my Inktense pencils. I've also got some Schminke watercolours here, which I have yet to try out. These are the sketchbooks that I'm working on at the moment. You may have seen me working in some of them. I think I did an unboxing of this and some other things that I'd got from Temu, however you're supposed to say it. This is empty at the moment, but I had some stickers, so they're ready for when I break into that one. This is my main sketchbook at the moment, and I'm nearly halfway through that one. And then this one is more of a scrappy sketchbook. I haven't really done very much in it, just a little bit of art journaling and stuff. I keep those to hand. Here I have my label printer. That was something that I used a lot when I had an Etsy shop. Now that I don't have one, it's only occasional. This arm here is what I use for putting my phone into and recording from above when I'm doing art. And then that can be folded away when I'm not using it. This is the program that I use for editing videos. It's called DaVinci Resolve, and it is completely free. And it's also amazing that you can get a program that's so good that is free. So if you make videos and you're still using one of those older programs that you have to pay a subscription for, I would really think about trying this one because it's great. This little red box here is what I use for recording music. Over here, there is a microphone hidden behind here, and that goes into the red box. The red box goes into the computer, and if I want to, I can also plug a jack in here, so I could record ukulele or guitar or keyboard, anything that I want, into here and into my music software, and that's called Ableton Live. That one is not free, but most of the time, if it's not vocals, then I'm not actually recording audio, I'm recording MIDI through this keyboard. I have a couple of MIDI controllers as well as the keyboard, so I have this thing, I can play drums on these little pads, and then I have another one over here, so I can actually trigger things with these buttons here and these faders here. When you make videos, you need special lights, not just ordinary lamps, but photography lights, which is what it says on the back. I've got it on its dimmest setting so that it's not blinding you on this video right now, but ordinarily that would be pointing down towards the art that I'm doing. Even on the dimmest setting, it does make quite a big difference. Now, if you make music and you make video, you need plenty of space. So this is one of my drives. This is where I keep all my music sample libraries on here. And then this one is a much larger drive, but it's not solid state. And this is where I keep all my video content. Behind me, as I sit at my desk, is my art cart, which I was given by my mum. And this holds all of my other art supplies. I have magnets for the bottom of my watercolour pans, stickers for journaling, watercolour brush pens, needle pens, haven't used these actually. It says Faber-Castell, but that's just the maker of the tin. Inside I've got my Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s, and some more of those, and then my Winsor & Newton watercolour pencils, plus a water brush and some other bits. Got a plastic palette, that's empty at the moment. Some more plastic palettes, colour wheel, grayscale and value finder, another plastic palette, brush soap, more palettes. Do you think I've got enough of these? This I think has dried gouache in it, but it didn't hold well to the palette, so I daren't even open that. These are my oil pastels. I've got some Artway shimmer watercolours. These are some of the cheaper ones, so I don't really tend to use these as much these days. I've got some spare Winsor & Newton watercolour for when my green runs out, because it's nearly gone. I have a putty eraser, some washi tapes, some Winsor & Newton gold ink, which tends to separate. Some more of the sap green cotton watercolour, because that is my favourite colour. Some Jelly Roll light coloured pens for going over the top of watercolour, and a ruler, or I think the Americans call it a rule. Some salt for use with my watercolour. Just little bits in here. And that is for if I want a little thing of clean water as well as my main watercolour jar of water. I've got tissues and a rag for my watercolour. I've got a sponge for texture, painting texture. Don't know why I've got a purple shoelace in there. Pencil sharpener. This is, I think, it might have been the first watercolour set that I got, or at least the first serious watercolour set. And they're actually quite nice. They're similar to Kuretake watercolours. These are the Komorebi ones by Mozart. And I have some bullet journaling stencils. This is the next layer. I've just tidied it up a bit and taken some things out that weren't entirely relevant. This one is pencils. These ones are watercolour markers of different types. This one is for my various brushes. This one here is my nice colouring pencils. And this one here is the one with pens and pencils that I'm not as fond of, because that's nearest to the rest of the house. So if someone wants to come and help themselves to a pen, then they can get it from here, and I won't really mind all that much. And there are a few other just random things in here, like Sharpies and a paintbrush cleaner and stuff like that. Inside I have some gesso, some iridescent medium for watercolour, some granulation medium, some masking fluid. I think at one point I'd like to do a video that's all about playing with mediums. This is a slow drying medium, but I think that's, yeah, it's for acrylic, that one. Just got a glue stick in there. I have some modelling paste, some textured gel, and some matte medium, and some Indian ink. Here I've got a jar with some really old naff brushes that I keep for stuff like if I want to use them with gesso or something like that, something that's going to ruin them. Watercolour empty pans here. Some masking tape of a couple of different thicknesses for putting around the edge of paper before I paint onto it. I've got a brayer for using with a gel plate, which I have at the back of here. That is a gel printing plate. It's like a soft thing, and it's a lot of fun actually. And then this is my heat tool for drying layers of paint, so you don't have to wait. And then the next layer doesn't have an awful lot in it. It's mostly just different types of paper. Say hello to my cat there. Hello. So I've just taken all these out. I've got some watercolour paper in the shape of a bookmark. I've got some black mixed media paper. This is Canson XL watercolour paper. Strathmore pastel paper. I've got some Canson Graduate mixed media paper with a grey tone, and I really like this tone. Got some more black mixed media paper, but this time in A4 size, which is similar to the American letter size. This is a large sketchbook that have I finished it? No, I haven't finished it. That should be out with my other sketchbooks then. Then I have some larger paper that I got quite recent, so I haven't used any of it yet. I keep this little plastic set of drawers under my desk, and this is just for various kinds of paint or pens or whatever. I've got a few acrylics in the bottom there, not many. Drawing instruments is stuff like compass, protractor, ruling pen, some erasers and stuff, rubbers as we call them here. Pens is some of my slightly nicer pens than the ones I showed you earlier. So I've got a Beryl Italic and a Blender pen. I've got some nice little metallic silver and gold and some white highlighter pens, some jelly roll pens. These are my chalk markers, which I don't really use, so I think I might swap these out for something else. This is my gouache drawer. Probably use this drawer more than anything. This is Reeves gouache, mostly, but I do have a Winsor & Newton white one in here. Here I've got some fine liners, not particularly nice ones. And then these are the best pens, the waterproof ones. So these are my Micron pens. I've got some in black. I've got some Unipin pens in brown and grey. I've got light grey and darker grey. And then I've got some V-ball ones. So these are all ones where you can draw with it on the watercolour paper first, and then you can put watercolour over the top and it's not gonna smudge. No one's allowed in that drawer but me. And then I have some metallic markers at the top here as well. These are pretty cheap and cheerful, but they have a lovely effect. And here's a pen that I didn't show you because it was tucked away in one of the drawers and I just didn't see it. But this is a glass dip pen, and you can use this with ink, but you can also use it with watercolour, and that's what I tend to use it for. So that's the end of my tour of my art studio and music studio areas. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.